Okay, Dave, the turnout in Lincoln is just under 70%. Does that favour Leave or Remain?
I think it's hard to tell at the moment. I think it's positive that there's such a good turnout, slightly higher than the general election. Probably could have still been better. Certainly in the polling station I went to, it was around about that figure, perhaps slightly higher. I think that's people exercising their right to vote, which is positive. At this time, I think it's too tight to call one way or the other.
And if you had to make a prediction, who would you go with in Lincoln?
I think I've had very mixed views on both campaigns, to be perfectly honest, from a personal perspective. I think it's too hard to call. I think it's got to be very even Stevens, maybe slightly in favour of Leave than Remain.
And on a national picture?
Again, too early to tell, I think, really. Some of the big conurbations have declared, but they're fairly predictable, and the ones that usually call in quickly. So I think the overall total is about 20,000 lead at the moment in terms of a Remain. That could easily switch the other way, so I don't think it's an easy call at the moment, but it's looking like it's going to the Leave vote, I should say. So who knows by the end of the day. The early days, 7 o'clock in the morning when it all finishes. So.
You mentioned you have mixed feelings on the campaign. What in particular haven't you been pleased about?
I think in both camps there's been misinformation, really, and what I would have liked to have seen would have been a very much more focused campaign on actually what the real differences are between staying in and moving out of the EU. A lot of things will happen either way. You know, if you look at I'm a trade unionist. If you look at the attacks on trade unions, that's got to happen whether we stay in or stay out. The Tories are, with the TU bill. So there's things that I think they could have taken out, and there's been a lot of scaremongering. I think the big question that's not been answered properly is the issue of migration. And I think that for a lot of people is what they're actually voting on, and both sides have never really answered that question fully. And so I think people have been developing quite xenophobic and racist attitudes, and it's been allowed to happen, which I'm disgusted by on a personal basis. And I think that's to the detriment of the UK. And I think we'll rue the day on those particular issues, because we're seeing the far right emerging on some of these issues as a consequence, and I think that's a worry for our society.